just going to go through a few of the guidelines that I want you to follow for the mobility work and the kind of more stretching related work. So the first point is that we need to understand a little bit more about what's actually happening. So all of the tightness and the stiffness that we get in our body, it's not a problem. That's how I used to think of it. There's something wrong with me, there's a problem here, why am I tight, why am I stiff? But we need to flip our thinking on this. So any tightness or stiffness that we have, it's actually your brain's solution to keep you safe. So that's what it is. It's your brain's solution to keep you safe for the current movement diet that you have, your previous injury history and the way that you're moving basically. So it's actually all coming down to us. Our brain is doing the best that it can to keep us safe and moving well, but from the way that we've been training, it has no other option but to keep us tight and to keep us stiff and to protect us from the ranges that are going to get us injured. Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to think of. There's nothing wrong with us. We're tight and we're stiff for a reason, and we need to think, what is that reason? And that's the stuff that I'm going to tell you now and that we're going to work on. So that's the first point to understand. The second point then is, like I'm just saying there, our brain is going to try and protect us and keep us tight and stiff so that we're not going to injure ourselves. This is going all the way back to evolutionary biology, which I'll have in a different video for people who want to go into more detail, but I won't go into it now for the sake of time. But the two things that we need to focus on to get more mobile is that we need to have strength and control of the position. Okay, so if we don't have either one of those, if we don't have strength and if we don't have control over the position, then your brain is not going to perceive it as safe and it's going to lock you down and keep you tight and stiff. But if we do get those two things, now you're going to have mobility that's going to be lasting. So that's the thing out there at the moment that we're missing. If we just stretch for 15 seconds here and there, think of what I just told you there. If we stretch for 15 seconds, is that getting you stronger in that position? No. Is it getting you control over the position? No. So it's not going to keep it long term. I did that for years, stretching the evening foam rolling, and then the next day you're pretty much the same. So we need to forget about that. We need to think of, how am I going to get strong in the position, and how am I going to get control over the position? And if we have those two things, you're going to have that mobility to use whenever you want, in soccer, jiu-jitsu, in any sport or life, and that's what we want, because your brain is going to have no reason now to protect you. So like if we look at my hamstrings, I haven't obviously done anything here, so there you go. Did I foam roll there? Did I warm up there? No. I've trained to be strong and have control over that position, so now I have access to it whenever I want. So that's what we want when we're thinking of our mobility training. So that's the second point. The third point then is, it's going to follow strength training principles. Okay, if we just thought of mobility training the same way that we should think about our strength training, that's half the battle, but unfortunately we don't. So we're going to be following things like progressive overload. We're going to be using the same thing I talked about, training within our capacity and not testing our limits. So for example, the stretches and mobility work we're going to have in a separate video, you don't want to go balls to the wall. I don't want to see people in stretches and you can't breathe, you can't even talk, and you're doing more damage than good there. So for all of these, we just want to do a little bit more than we did the last time. So we want to think of starting at 60 to 70% of your max. If you're starting to move into a stretch and you feel the tightness, you can start there. You don't need to push the whole way into it until it's unbearable. Because again, think of the brain, we need to show it that we have control, that we're safe here. If we're pushing the whole way in to where it's very severe and uncomfortable, your brain is going to keep it that way. You're not doing it in a progressive manner. So that's what we need to do for all of them. Just go at 60 to 70%. A good guideline is that if you're in these stretches or doing mobility work, you should be able to talk and you should be able to breathe. If you're in some position and you can't even talk because it's so tight and so painful, then that's not what we want. It's not going to work long term. So yeah, going to it 60 to 70%. Start deep breathing, be able to control yourself in this position, show your brain safety, and then that's going to progress over time. As the weeks go by, you'll get a little bit further, and you're progressing just the same as you would in the gym. If you can only bench press 40 kg, you don't go in and try 60 kg. You need to work up to these things progressively. Mobility training is the exact same. So the problem is we just don't understand the reasons behind it in the body and what we need to do. And then second of all, we don't follow progressive overload like we do with our strength training. So it's no surprise at all why we're not getting results. But like I've done it myself the last 2 years, if you just follow this, then you will get the long-lasting mobility. And yeah, I suppose one more thing, just linking in with that, the brain is controlling everything, okay? So, it's not about stretching this muscle, stretching that muscle, it's about the things I've told you, getting the strength and getting in control. So a good analogy to think of the nervous system is like an overprotective mother. Okay, so if you're from Ireland like me, you'll know what the Irish mothers are like. You know, let's say you broke your curfew one day, okay? You broke your curfew and now you want to go out late again. Is your mother going to let you out again? No. You know, you need to earn that trust back off her. You need to show her over the next couple of weeks and months that you can be trusted, you know, that you're going to be safe and that you're able to handle yourself, and then you'll slowly earn back that trust over time, okay? This is the exact same with the brain. You know, let's say, I'll give you an example of that. If I'm trying to get the splits, if I jump straight into the splits, just like me breaking curfew with my mother, my nervous system is going to pull my hamstring, and you know, pull my hip flexor, and it's going to teach me a lesson. Just like your mother does, okay? So it's going to teach me a lesson to say, Mark, you're not ready for the splits, you shouldn't be jumping straight into it, you're going to injure yourself, and I've basically given you a slap on the back there, and you've learned your lesson now. If you want it, you're going to have to gain the trust, you're going to have to put in the work, and get up to it progressively over time. And it's the exact same way that I described it with the mother. So that's what we need to do. It's 100% achievable for anyone. Okay, but the problem is we need to drop the ego, you know, we need to go down, work at a capacity with what we can do currently, and then just slowly increase it and play the long game, okay? And that's going to make anybody more mobile, you know, for sport, for life, and even for quality of life as well, as I know. Yeah, it's not nice to be, you know, tight and stiff, feeling like an old man, you know, in your 20s, so we just focus on these things now. It's going to pay dividends in terms of our mobility.